Today we are doing the end of year book tag. It is the day before Christmas as I'm filming this, and I looked outside this morning and it is snowing, so it's looking like we might get a white Christmas after all here in Sweden, which makes me so excited and seems so fitting for this video. Okay, so I've written down a few questions that I found on YouTube for the book tag, and I thought that we would go through those to kind of reflect back on my year of reading. I will try not to repeat books in too many questions, just to make it a bit more, just to give it a bit more of a variety, but obviously in some questions the same books will be mentioned, but hopefully that will be okay. But I'm thinking we will just jump right into it because we have 23 questions to go through and a bunch of books to talk about. So first of all, I have read 61 books as of right now this year, which I think is a pretty good number. Obviously it's not as many as many other people, but considering I've been working and studying, I think that's a very good number. And also it's not all about the numbers. I have had some amazing reads this year that I've been so happy about and that I will definitely carry with me. So yeah, that is just a little bit so you know how many books I have to kind of choose from this year. So the first question is most disappointing read of the year. And I did have two that came to mind. I do think that I probably have more than that, but the two that felt most disappointing right off the bat when I saw this question were... Okay, so first off, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This one I bought quite a while ago and I was very excited for it because this is about some retired friends who live in a retirement village and they meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders, and this sounded like the most heartwarming little mystery book, and this is also a series, so I was very excited to read the entire series, and maybe I still will. But this just to me felt very, very slow and I had a very hard time getting through it, which to me was very disappointing. And I mean, maybe that is to be expected from a cozy mystery, but it just wasn't really my vibe. And I do read a lot of thrillers, so I was expecting a bit more from it, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure at this point if I will also read the rest of the series or if I'm just going to keep it with this one. I'm also thinking of unholding this because I don't know, it just does not really bring me any happiness seeing this in my bookcase. But yeah, let me know if you've read this series, if you think the other ones are better or if you did enjoy this one, because it's not a bad book, it just wasn't what I was expecting from it, I think. And then I also have one that I'm pretty sad about because we did read the first one in the series for book club and we all gave it 5 stars, I think. But then we read the second one, which is Foxglove. So the first one is Belladonna and then we go into Foxglove by Adeline Grace. And this just felt like the pacing was a little bit off. I still really liked the vibes and I will definitely read the third book in the series. So I didn't not enjoy this, but it was just different from the first one when it came to the pacing and the vibes, and just I don't know, maybe it was because there wasn't as much of a mystery in this, but this one I can't really even remember what happened. So yeah, I don't know, I just really loved the first one and this one was a little bit of a disappointment to me. I still did enjoy it. I think I probably gave it 3.5 over 4 stars, so not by any means a bad book, just did not reach up to the expectations that I had for it after reading the first one. So yeah, those two are some kind of disappointing reads that I had this year. Okay, so then we have what was your underdog book? So for me that would be one that I maybe wasn't expecting to love as much as I did, or that hasn't been that hyped. And one of them I don't have here because a friend borrowed it, so that means that I really loved it. Because I always just give them straight to my friends to read them as well, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. And I did have a feeling that I was gonna love it, but I was also very intimidated by it, and I had a suspicion that I maybe wouldn't understand it that well. But I did end up loving it, as well as the rest of my book club, because we read it for book club. So we all rated it 5 stars. So if you have the same problem and you feel intimidated by it, definitely give it a try, because it is not hard to understand. I really felt for the main character, and I just really enjoyed learning all of these facts about the different languages, and there were things happening all the time. So especially from like the halfway mark, it was just an amazing read, and one that I would definitely think back on. So that one was one of my underdog books, as well as Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. And this one, Alice Feeney to me is an auto-buy author. I have now read, I think I've read 4 of her books at this point, or maybe 5, I'm not sure. But this one was a new release for this year, and I had not really heard anyone talk about it, and if they did, I didn't hear them talk that highly about it. But this one, okay, so it was also the whole experience, because I did read this together with 2 friends. So we sat together every time we read it and read like a few chapters, and then we talked about it, and I have not done that before with anyone. But also just like the ending, like Alice Feeney is just a genius to me, and just someone who puts so much thought into her books, and you can just, like, once the plot twist hits, you can just see that this was planned all the way through, and it wasn't something that she just came up with like at the end of the book just to surprise people, but it's so thought out, and I just love her as a thriller author. So this one is definitely, together with Rock Paper Scissors, one of my favorite books by her so far. And I am super excited to read the rest of her books. I do have Daisy Darker and Good Bad Girl by her that I haven't read yet. And I did also see that she is releasing another one in the month of January. So beyond excited for that one as well. I just think that she is such a genius. Okay, so the next question is a book that was overhyped. And in my opinion, this is a book that I know is very loved, and the whole series is very loved. But to me, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez was a little bit overhyped. I did enjoy it as a romance, and I loved like the humor in it, I loved the goat, I loved all of that, but I don't know, I didn't feel that much while reading it, and maybe that changes in the next book in the series, Yours Truly, which is the one I've heard the most about in that series. But I just didn't really think that that one specifically was worth the hype to me, and yeah, I think the rest of the book club also thought so. That is also because I'm not really a romance reader maybe, but I just was expecting a little bit more depth, I think, from it. But I am still excited to read the rest of the series and the rest of her books, but I just didn't vibe with it as much as I was hoping I would. Then we have favorite book couple of the year, and this one I thought was a bit hard because I don't really read that much romance, and the like romantasy books that I've read have not been that like romance heavy. Maybe I haven't read that much romantasy. But I did just this year dive into the ACOTAR series, so I've currently read the first 3 books of the series, and obviously Fave and Reese are one of my favorite couples. I love them together, I love the banter, and I love following their story. But then I also have Immortality written down by Dana Schwartz. This is the second book in the Anatomy duology, so this one I did read this year. And I just really love the vibes of these books, and maybe that's more it. But I do also love the relationship that Hazel and Jack have. So I did write this one down as well, so I did enjoy following their story in both the first and the second book. But yeah, as I mentioned, I haven't really read that many like romances this year. Okay, so then we have my favorite main character of the year, and that one without a doubt I would say is Lenny from The Great Alone. This one I have talked about a bunch in my bookmas videos, but this one was just my favorite book of the year, first of all. And Lenny in this book, like I annotated this so much, but Lenny in this book is a teenager who is struggling with some things that are going on in her family, and I just felt like I wanted to give her such a big hug, and I felt like she was so strong and she just kept pushing through, and she had so much empathy for the people that she loved, and I don't know, I felt so much for her. So she's definitely one of my favorite characters of the year, and one that I do think back on, and she feels like a real person to me. I think that might be why I still think about her. But yeah, I don't know, I just really, really loved her, so that one takes a prize for me. Okay, then we have a book that surprised me this year, and for that one I wrote down The Prison Healer. I don't have it physically, I did listen to it as an audiobook, but a lot of people have said, obviously it has gotten a lot of hype, but mostly because of the ending, but I just enjoyed the whole book through. So not just the plot twist, which did definitely get me, but I just really loved the vibes and the atmosphere in that book. So, and in the second book as well, that I did listen to straight after the first one. But yeah, I give it 5 stars, so that was kind of a surprise to me, because a lot of people have rated it like 3 stars, or they've said that it was slow, but to me it wasn't necessarily slow. Maybe that is because I did listen to it at work, maybe it is because I wasn't expecting a lot from it, but I just really enjoyed The Prison Healer, and yeah, I give it 5 stars. So, and then that kind of goes into favorite new author you discovered in 2025, because I did read a lot of books from authors that I had already read from, and the books that I read that were from new authors I didn't maybe love that much. So for this one I did actually write down Lynette Noni, who is the author of the Prison Healer series, because I hadn't read anything by her before, and then I obviously read the first 2 books in that series and loved them again. So she is definitely an author that I want to read more from, and I do know that she has more books, so I'm very excited for that, and also obviously to finish off the Prison Healer trilogy. Then we have What's the Happiest Book You've Read This Year, and for that one I would honestly say the Bookmas Book Club, because this one was just purely good vibes, and I wasn't expecting a lot from this one either, but this one was just a funny, light-hearted read, I would say. And whenever I think back on this one, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like happy, cozy vibes. So yeah, I do read a lot of emotional reads, or a lot of like heavier reads, so maybe that's why I didn't read that many happy books, but this one was definitely the like least problematic book out of the ones that I've read this year, I would say. And I did thoroughly enjoy this. I think I gave it 4 stars, and I definitely would love to read more in this series as well. Okay, so the next question is the most frustrating book that you read this year, and this one might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, but the one I picked out for this was Emma by Jane Austen, and this is the first classic that I've read, and I was expecting to have a hard time with the language, but not necessarily being frustrated by it, but I was, because just nothing was happening, and it was so unclear what the actual like plot was. And I get that this was written such a long time ago, and that there wasn't necessarily always a plot in books written in this time, but there was just literally nothing happening, like literally nothing, and that really frustrated me. It was also 400 pages, which was too long for what it was. I still have my bookmark in there. I did eventually have to give up and start listening to it, because I just could not for the life of me get through this. And I don't know, Emma as a main character just also really frustrated me. This one was a frustrating read. It put me in a massive reading slump, so every time I look back on this book I just do not feel any happy feelings towards it. I do want to try to read more classics, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a while, I think, after this one. So for the best adaptation of the year, I did actually also write down The Thursday Murder Club, because I did actually enjoy the movie that came out on Netflix this year. So that one is definitely one that I would recommend, and that was more the vibes I was expecting from the book. And I think that it is a good adaptation, but just as like a 2-hour movie, it didn't feel as slow as the book did. So that one I did definitely enjoy. So that one was also the one that made me think that maybe I will continue the rest of the series. But yeah, I don't think I've read any other books with adaptations. I mean, Beartown, I know that there's a TV show for that, but I haven't watched it because I do want to finish the series first. And other than that, as far as I know, there are no other adaptations that I've read this year. For the longest book you read this year, that one, according to my Goodreads, is Keeping 13, which I did not read physically, so I'm not sure if that counts. But yeah, Keeping and Binding 13 are obviously two very long books that I listened to on audiobook. But if we are counting the books that I read physically, it is definitely A Court of Wings. Yeah, A Court of Wings and Ruin. But yeah, that one is 700 pages long, so I didn't read that many like super long books this year. I did listen to a few, obviously, as I mentioned. But yeah, those are the ones. And I did enjoy Keeping 13 and Binding 13. I think that if I would have read them physically, I would have been a little bit bored. So I listened to them while I was at work. And I did thoroughly enjoy them, and I cared so much about the characters. But I felt like it was a little bit of a slower read, I guess. And one that maybe I didn't connect with in the same way that I would with some other books. And then the shortest book I've read this year was actually last weekend, also an audiobook actually, because we went on a road trip with the book club and we decided to listen to like a little Christmas novella to kind of catch up with our Goodreads goal and just to have something to listen to. So we listened to All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. Yeah, and according to Goodreads it's very short. I'm not even sure how short it was. Let me check. Okay, so it's 54 pages apparently. So the audiobook was like 1.5 hours, I think. So yeah, that is the shortest book by far that I've read this year. And then we have my favorite book cover of the year. Let me just grab it. Okay, so I think my favorite book cover of the year is this one, You've Reached Sam. This is the first book that I finished this year. I did start it last year, but then went into January. And partly it's the edition I have, because I do have the edition with like the sprayed edges with the like cherry blossom petals. But just in general, I think it is a beautiful book, and I think all of his covers are beautiful. I do have 2 more of them. Yeah, it was also a very emotional but beautiful read. It's not one that I think back on daily, but it is one that I definitely felt something while reading. And I did just get the second book in the like series, I guess, that came out recently, so that one I did show in one of my bookmas videos, and I am excited to get into that one as well. And it is a pretty short read. I think it's like, yeah, it's just under 300 pages, so definitely doable. But yeah, I think I would choose this as my favorite cover of the year. Okay, so then we have a book that I haven't stopped thinking about, and again, that is definitely The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. So as I mentioned, it is about a teenager who, like her family, her dad was in the Vietnam War, and he definitely has a lot of trauma from that. So he has a hard time in the winters and he can't really stay put in one place. So he decides to move his family to Alaska whenever he gets an opportunity to do so. So Lenny, her mom, and her dad move there, and obviously the winters are very long in Alaska and the darkness just does not sit well with him. So yeah, all of this kind of comes up again once they move there, and Lenny is just she's struggling. I would say. It's hard to explain without like spoiling anything, but it's just a really emotional and beautiful read, and definitely one worth reading if you haven't already. And then the cringiest book you read, that is 100% again All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. It was honestly horrible. I give it 1 star. For an unpopular book that I loved, I did also pick Immortality by Dana Schwartz, because I feel like I have heard a little bit about Anatomy, but I haven't heard many people talk about that one. And then especially about the second book in the series, I have not heard a lot of people talk, and I just really loved those books, like the vibe that Dana Schwartz has set for the books, and the concept is to me very unique. It is like a bit more of an historical one, and it's about Hazel who wants to be a surgeon. However, in the time period where this was set, I think it's in the 1800s, that is not like accepted for a woman. So she dresses up as her brother to kind of follow classes, and then she has to practice, which she can't do because she is a woman. So she kind of buys dead bodies to practice on. I don't know, it's just very unique, it's very interesting, so I definitely recommend that duology. And then we have my highest and lowest rated books on Goodreads, and the highest rated book that I've read this year on Goodreads is A Court of Mist and Fury, so that's the second book in the ACOTAR series. I think I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy the third book in the series more, but yeah, that is the highest one. And then the lowest one is, again, All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. It has a 2.58 rating on Goodreads. But then, if we're not counting that one, because I have been talking about that, we have This Lie Will Kill You, which is this book. And this one we also read for book club in, I think, the month of March or something. And I did not love this book. I think I gave it a 2-star rating. I think the concept of it sounded super interesting. So there was this party where someone died, and then a year later the 5 survivors arrive at an isolated mansion expecting to compete in a contest with a $50,000 prize. But yeah, obviously that's not all, so then they kind of get stuck there and not all can leave. I don't know, the concept sounded super interesting. I just think that it did not really play out that well. So yeah, I understand the lower rating on Goodreads on this one. Okay, so then we have my favorite quotes of the year. So I did write down 3 quotes from 3 different books. The first one is again from The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I cannot read my favorite quotes without reading one from my favorite book of the year. So that is, a girl was like a kite. Without her mother's strong, steady hold on the string, she might just float away, be lost somewhere among the clouds. Since I don't have my mom with me anymore, it just hit, you know? I don't know. And then we have one from The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This one was also one of my favorite reads this year. I gave this one 5 stars as well, and this one was also a little bit of an historical one, and also one that I annotated quite a bit. So from that one we have, perhaps the kindest thing I could do for the characters would be to leave their stories unfinished. Leave them with their possibilities, their potential, even if they only exist in my own mind. And I did really like that one as well, because, you know, it kind of shows that if you don't, for example, finish a book, the characters kind of get to live on forever in the way that you want. Yeah, for this book, that one really hit as well. And then we also have one from the Midnight Library, which it's up there, so I can't be bothered to go get it. But from that one I took, if you aim to be something you are not, you will always fail. Aim to be you. Aim to look and act and think like you. Aim to be the truest version of you. Embrace that you-ness. Endorse it. Love it. Work hard at it. And don't give a second thought when people mock it or ridicule it. Most gossip is envy in disguise. And that one I also really, really liked. We have a few more questions to go. So the next one is the most unique concept, and I think, in my opinion, that might be Babel by R.F. Kuang, because just the whole magic system and the way this kind of universe works was very unique to me. And maybe that is because I haven't read a lot of dark academia, because I was also contemplating to put Ninth House, because that one was the first dark academia book I read, also this year. But I don't know, they just really are unlike anything else that I've read, so maybe that's a me thing, I don't know. The way, I don't know, it's the magic system and the way it works, I just thought was very unique. Then we have the book You're Sad You Didn't Get to this year, and that is definitely Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I have been wanting to get that one for a long time now, and I still haven't gotten to it. I'm hoping to still get to it before the end of winter, so I do obviously have like 2 or 3 more months to get to it. Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to that one this year either. It was on my 25 books to read in 2025, but you know. We then have a book that you would reread, and that one is definitely Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I did listen to it on audiobook and I gave it a 4 stars, I think. But I do know that if I read it physically, I will probably be able to give it a 5 stars. Because for me, books just don't hit the same way when I listen to them. I'm just not really like an audiobook girly by heart. So I would say that one for that, and it is also one that I'm definitely aiming to reread at some point soon. We have reflection on your 2025 reading goals, and I didn't really set that many reading goals. I basically only set like a number of books that I would love to read, and that was 65. And at this point, when there's 8 days left of the year, I've read 61, so I have 4 more books to go, which I will not reach in a little over a week. Unless I maybe listen to some holiday novellas or something, but that is completely okay. I really don't feel bothered by not reaching the goal, because a goal is a goal and not something that needs to be reached. And I have definitely enjoyed my reading this year, and I've been better at like taking my time with them. So if I'm reading a thick book, it's not like I feel stressed because I don't finish it within a week or whatever. I just take my time and enjoy it while it lasts, and I'm very happy that I have kind of found that calm within me to do so. So yeah, I don't have that much more to reflect on when it comes to that. And then we have the last question, which is, what are you prioritizing with your reading in 2026? And that is honestly to read the books that I really want to read, but also again taking my time with the book. So if I have a thicker book, it's completely okay if it takes longer to read. If I do want to start another book on the side, that's fine too. You know, just not that much pressure on myself. Just read for fun and read when I have the energy and the time. And if I don't read for a day, 2 days, a week, that doesn't matter, because I will still read whenever I want to read again. So yeah, I think those are the reading, or like the things that I'm prioritizing for the new year. Maybe also finish some series, that would be really nice. Yeah, I think that's it. So those are all the questions I had for the 2025 end of year book tag. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see future videos that I post. Give this video a like if you liked it, and I'm hoping to see you guys in the next one.